guys, and welcome back to my channel, where today we're spilling some fresh hot legal tea around the Gwyneth Paltrow case. If you aren't aware, Gwyneth Paltrow has been in and out of court all week for a ski accident that happened in Utah on a Park City ski slope. Apparently what happened was in 2016, Gwyneth was up in the mountain enjoying some ski time when she crashed into a man by the name of Terry Sanderson, a retired optometrist who was also just up there enjoying some winter sports. Anyway, this crash apparently left Terry with some rather serious injuries, including brain damage and some broken ribs. It's important to know that Terry's recollection of the incident was that he was going downhill and Gwyneth was uphill. And I guess in ski rules, the person who is uphill has to watch out for the ones below them, giving the downhill skiers the right of way. This makes sense, obviously. Terry decided to sue her, saying that this was a quote hit and run and is seeking $300,000 in damages. Initially though, Terry was trying to get $3 million, and to be honest, the actual amount is not clear to me at this time, but Gwyneth has clapped back and said that he crashed into her and is countersuing for just $1. A single dollar, but also her attorney fees, so that could also add up, of course. But according to Gwyneth's attorney, whose opening statement included a dollar bill as a prop, the money doesn't matter obviously to Paltrow, but her ski trip was ruined because of all of this. It seems that this defense attorney's method here is to show that there is actually no one at fault, and that when you ski, you're taking on a risk by being on a mountain.
There are inherent risks of skiing. I know when I get on the top of the tram at Snowbird, if I don't do this right, I could kill myself. I mean, it's a breathtaking, wonderful, exhilarating, but also a little dangerous.
He seems very tired already. This was the opening statement, to be clear. During this speech, he actually says that these claims are rather offensive, and it seems to me that this man just finds this whole trial kind of ridiculous.
I'm an offensive one. She somehow left him an unconscious man and bolted, and I can tell you, we believe it to be utter BS.
I'm a little shook that this is the lawyer that Gwyneth got, to be honest.
Objection, Your Honor. Argument. He's supposed to present what he's going to show, not argue it.
We believe it to be. It's fair, isn't it?
Clearly, this trial is going to be very interesting and honestly pretty entertaining.
He's suing for $3 million. Okay. I'll tell you what, I'm going to hit damages later.
I actually find this man utterly hilarious, but during his opening statement, he says to the jury, pay attention to the record before someone is thinking about a lawsuit. And the opposing counsel is like, Your Honor, this is supposed to be an opening statement. This guy is clearly arguing here, hello. But basically, their point is that Terry Sanderson had brain issues before the accident. Interestingly as well, even though this man opens up his statement by saying the jury should try and put emotional feelings or pity aside and look at the facts, he then continues to explain why skiing is so sentimental to Gwyneth and brings up her deceased father.
Her dad, who left this life too early, took her skiing as a kid at Alta. She grew up learning to ski, and those are very sentimental trips. In fact, after her dad died in his 50s, she didn't ski for a long time because it was an emotional thing for her.
I never like it when people say to put emotions aside, only to use emotion in an attempt to garner some type of reaction. It's just a red flag, to be honest. But I have to say, the opening statement from the opposing counsel isn't all that much better here.
And she knew that skiing that way, looking somewhere else, blindly skiing down a mountain, was reckless. And she knew if she continued to ski that way, that it was not a matter of if, but when, and someone would get seriously and permanently hurt.
So basically, they're saying that she was being intentionally reckless with the way that she decided to ski down the hill. These men seem like they need a coffee or something. What is happening? The lawyer says that Gwyneth was distracted because her children were skiing with their instruction and they wanted her to watch.
She turns her head up to look at her children. As she turns her head back down, she screams, then skis back into the back of Terry Sanderson.
Could the water not have just waited a moment?
He screams,
He continues that after the crash happened, both Terry and Gwyneth were on the ground. Allegedly, there was just one witness to this incident by the name of Craig Ramone, who skied over to see if everyone was okay. And apparently the ski instructor that was with Gwyneth's children then skied over and started yelling at Terry saying, "What did you do?" Which Ramone says he was rather confused by because he says it was clear that it wasn't Terry's fault. We will be hearing from the ski instructor at some point during the trial to hear his side of what happened that day, but it seems that the brain injuries are quite severe for Terry. And his lawyer explains that before this happened, Terry was a happy, charming person who volunteered and all of this, but now not so much.
We asked Terry to step out during this part because I didn't want to rub his nose in his own problems.
They actually won't be having Terry in the courtroom at all for the before and after witness testimonies, but Gwyneth's lawyer tells a different story of what happened that day on the mountain.
Suddenly she sees two skis appear between her skis, and a man comes up right behind her, and then she's like, they're begin falling to the right.
This is quite the different version of events, right?
And he hits down, apparently his side and his head, and she is essentially falling on him, but keep in mind, his skis are intertwined now with hers.
So their version is that Terry came from behind Gwyneth, and she's like, "What are you doing?" To which Terry allegedly responded in so many words, "Oh, I didn't see you." In my professional law school opinion, the statement from the alleged witness is going to be very important here, as it seems that we have two contradicting stories of who hit who that day. As for Terry not saying that he didn't say sorry or doesn't remember if he said sorry, I don't know if that's like the biggest deal. Have you guys been bumped into when you're out and say, "Oh, sorry," even if someone bumped into you? It can be kind of a natural, unintentional reaction. Also, if he had brain damage at this point, it's likely he wouldn't remember details exactly, right? And I know for a fact, especially in Canada where people apologize like all the time, they have confirmed that it is indeed a myth that if you apologize in a car accident case, that's an admission of guilt because people just apologize all the time. Gwyneth's lawyer also pulls up a signed witness statement from the ski instruction that says, "First thing that male skier stated was that she appeared right in front of him, thus admitting that he was the uphill skier. She never saw him because he came in from behind. This is the instructor that was with Gwyneth's children and came up to Terry after the collision and was yelling, 'What did you do?'" While doing some research for this case, I really wanted to hear what Craig Ramone had to say from his own lips. This is the alleged eyewitness that we mentioned before, so he took the stand and recalled the incident like this.
We were skiing down, I heard this scream, and then I looked over, and then I see this skier just slam into the back of Terry.
So the scream, I'm guessing, according to his recollection, possibly came from Gwyneth. She later said during her questioning that she did not remember screaming at all, and she actually doesn't think that even happened.
And she just slammed him.
How hard?
Very hard. Very hard. She hits him right directly in the back, and he falls face down, and Gwyneth's on the top of him, and then bounces off and slides to the right.
His version basically lines up with Terry's version of events. Ramone also claims that the ski instructor who actually works for the mountain did not ask if Terry was okay, did not give them any information, did not take his information, and did not offer any help in any way at all. Which is interesting. Even if what happened was what Gwyneth is claiming, which is Terry hit her, you'd think that an accident like this of any kind would require mountain staff members to get everyone's names and statements. And what's more, if the ski instructor was certain in what he had seen, surely he would want the statement from someone else to back it up, right? But during cross-examination from Gwyneth's lawyer, an inconsistency is pointed out from the deposition.
Okay, so Christensen always said, your buddy took out Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yes.
All right. Did you correct him?
No.
So the ski instructor was saying during the deposition that Terry hit Gwyneth, and he was saying it directly to Ramone, who stayed quiet.
Wouldn't that be the perfect time to say, "You are incorrect, sir"?
I wasn't. He was yelling, and I I didn't want to get into an argument with him. Didn't want to even.
Interesting. You think he'd maybe correct him? But if he was feeling intimidated or maybe doesn't do well under pressure or with confrontation, I could understand not saying anything in the moment. Regardless of this being an intentional change in story or simply staying quiet due to nerves, it doesn't look great for the other side either way. Gwyneth, of course, took the stand and her lawyer presented some text messages as evidence that this was all Terry's fault. During her questioning, her lawyer shows messages that were sent right after the incident and way before any mention of a lawsuit came to be. The mention of the lawsuit not yet existing is kind of a way to prove, like, why would she lie, I guess.
On the left with the G, and
Yes.
it says, can you read it?
It says, I came in, that guy sort of hurt me. I'm gonna get a massage at 3.
Gwyneth recalls the incident and explains that it wasn't really a crash like what you might think might happen with skiers. She describes it as slow and very strange.
It was a slow in between my skis with his skis, and then like 1,000, 2, 1,000, and then a fall.
The lawyer asks Gwyneth if Terry was at all unconscious for any amount of time, to which she says that he could have been, as doctors have explained to her that you can be unconscious for a split second. But as for minutes being knocked out, she says that he was not. And this quite heavily contradicts Ramon's statement, as he said he was, quote, out cold for 2 minutes at least. Gwyneth also explains that the ski hill that they were on is a green hill, which isn't quite a bunny hill, but tends to have lots of families, so she says she wouldn't be skiing aggressively or recklessly. As for the ski instructor that we keep hearing about, who sounds like is going to be a key witness in this trial, the lawyer asks about the allegedly aggressive yelling that Ramon mentioned.
Did you observe that?
He did not yell at Mr. Sanderson, no.
Apparently, this instructor will be testifying literally today, the day I'm making this video, so it looks like we will have to do a follow-up for you guys on exactly what he had to say. I really think he'll be able to clear a lot of things up, so please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below if you would be interested in watching that. Gwyneth's lawyer also says something rather interesting during this line of questioning.
Mr. Sanderson doesn't really remember things. You remember things, don't you?
I do.
Sustained?
Were you knocked out?
I was not knocked out, no.
Do you have memory loss of the event?
I do not. I mean, it was a long time ago, but...
That's fair.
An interesting point to take into consideration, in my opinion. However, the alleged brain damage and unconsciousness happened after either party was either uphill or downhill. So who is above who on the mountain did not change. Someone is lying. But real quick, we do have a counterclaim to talk about where Gwyneth is suing for her dollar. Terry's lawyer got to question Gwyneth about this.
$1 in symbolic damages, is that accurate?
It's an actual dollar that I'm asking for.
Okay, but you also testified when I asked you questions in your deposition that that $1 is symbolic. Do you remember me asking you
It's
about
symbolic because the damages would actually be more.
During this particularly funny line of questioning, the lawyer is like, did you get this idea from Taylor Swift? Because I asked you if you did back during your deposition and you said you didn't even know Taylor did that. But aren't you guys like really good friends?
You're not good friends with Taylor Swift.
I would not say we're good friends. We are friendly. I've taken my kids to one of her concerts before, but we don't talk very often.
You've never given Miss Swift personal, intimate gifts for Christmas.
Gwyneth's lawyer is basically continuously screaming about relevance in the background during this questioning, and I kind of have to agree with him. Like, lady, what the fuck are you talking about? And what does that have to do with anything? Honestly, objection. You're annoying. She's gone on about how this counterclaim isn't really for the dollar at all.
You're also asking the judge to award you attorney's fees for over hundreds of thousands of dollars. Isn't that true?
The judge has made a ruling on this issue that it will be a separate event.
Sustained as to relevance.
Even the judge is like, girl, relevance, please.
The relevance is, Your Honor, that they have...
If you want to argue the relevance, we should do it up here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely hilarious. Gwyneth's face while they all discuss this is killing me too.
So
It's a
I'm
yes-
asking
it's a yes
for
or
a
no.
dollar for me and then reimbursement of attorney's fees, which is a separate thing.
And that could be a substantial amount, correct?
potentially.
Okay.
I wonder if she wins, what would she do with that dollar? I'm seriously kind of getting smug vibes from her, and I feel like she'll either donate it or frame it. But you guys, that is going to be it for today's legal tea spill on the Gwyneth Paltrow ski hit and run case. There are a lot more details coming out as we speak, so stay tuned for a quick part 2 when there's more information available. And for now, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Hot Tea channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads, and for now, some appropriate eye bleach.